Namaste, how's it going? This is a video, a talk and entry, part of the ongoing vlog. One might see these series of videos as somehow related in terms of moving from the content of the base, the chakras, through up to the higher chakras. I'm probably not going to complete speculation upon the higher chakras as it gets very, very quiet and difficult to speak about. These are very subtle energies, spiritual energies, but in line with the previous centuries, all energy is energy, and there's an invitation for you to call the energy what and how you will. Prana, chi, sexual energy, universal energy, kundalini. I'm offering not semantics, but a discernment, the tools to discern, and the warnings that go forth with the tools of observation, the body as a tool, the body as a technology, understanding these natural processes. This was very much sort of instigated. The impetus came from me because I feel that we're not really given a complete and adequate vocabulary or a good education through schooling, exactly what it means to have a body and how to get the body acting in its utmost potential. I'm not 100% sure now that these programs might be taught in schools. I know that meditation is taught in prisons and so forth. But from a very fundamental level, it's clear that we don't have the the vocab to understand these subtle states of mind because, well, we're not we're in a rush. Let's say that the people of the 21st century, we find ourselves in a rush, and slowly these terms have kind of trickled down into the lexicon and made its way into a portmanteau, which is like when a word is borrowed from another language and entered into the common understanding. What happens is, of course, there's a bit of latency, or there's a kind of poor translation. It's the essence of it is there, but there's a few subtleties that are lost. Anyway, the first one which comes to mind, and that's in the yoga world of the understanding of karma. Karma means action. Yeah, that's pretty well understood now. Like there's a bit of wisdom there. A lot of people could misunderstand karma to mean some kind of cause and effect, like karma will get you kind of thing. I think that's true. I hope it's true, because it also swings the other way, which means that good karma will get you. So karma's a bitch, isn't it? That's what's been said. And I think at that level of understanding of karma, that means that you want to break free of karma. You don't want the karma. That's the prayer. That's what the enlightened is striving for. The karma is the only thing that separates the individual from the complete connectedness. Karma is very complicated to understand. You can get a taste of it, a glimpse of it. It's ever present, and I'm going to teach you and show you how to get the best perception of it, and also how to adequately handle it, how to deal with it in terms of moving it to its right place. Karma is very complicated. I think in Hinduism there's maybe 3 different types of karma. Buddhism there's probably more. In terms of Catholicism, it's not really spoken of, but the karma in terms of work, like to work, how to make your work joyful, could be a kind of karma. You see, I think it's important to speak on the karma that is latent and the karma that is present. the karma that is latent is like a sort of subtle feeling of like it's something that is not yet fruiting, and that has a lot to do with the individual body, the karma of the body, and its relationship to the natural greater forces of the world. The karma has to play out. The karma has to play out. I'm sure you've heard this term before. It means quite simply that whilst we are individual, we're also separate. The karma runs through us, and that there are kind of realms of karma. I mean, essentially, I'm not really saying anything new. That the body has its karma, which is connected immediately to the familial karma. Then there's a cultural karma, and so on and so forth to greater orders of magnitude. The non-attachment to the karma is the way out, and that's pretty clear. The non-attachment to the karma would mean like to help move energy into a higher, into that arena of faith, where sacrifice is. Look, it's like this. You want a good deed to be done, you have to know the time for it, the place for it, the reception. That's the perfection of a good deed, so that you're not casting pearls before swine. The karma is akin to a shadow. So the akarma is an action that does not produce any further actions. I'm thinking of karma in the most effective, immediate form of like, you want to start an activity. It's not just going to be like the material world has qualities in that doing something, you don't want to do something that's going to further entangle you into the buzzing of the world. Going to go to walk down the street, I'm going to have to get some shoes, but those shoes perhaps aren't having a shoelace, so then I'm going to have to go swing past the tailor and get a good shoelace. But in order to go to the tailor, alright, I'm going to have to get a car or something, and from the car has to be maintained in order to get to the place, to get the clothing, to go onto this walk. This is a notion of karma. It's the cause and effect repercussions of things that are already in place. If it's already in place, then there's a good chance that you could perhaps go with the flow of these energies. But then, it gets to a point where there's an individual karma, and this is a very subtle thing. It's very deeply personal. We can't buy into anybody else's karma, no matter how good or appealing it looks. And Krishna says this in the Gita as well. It's better off that you're doing your own work not so well, rather than doing somebody else's work with perfection. So in that, you have to find your own calling, your own karma. And of course, the best way to deal with the karma. This I'll teach you. I can show you. I can't tell you what to do with it, because it's completely individual. But the best way would be for one to just come to terms with one's own karma, the karma of the body. In stillness, you can understand it's the karmic momentum, which is the chitta vritti nirodha of the mind. It's what keeps you up at night. It what keeps you going in a certain way. How to best and most effectively understand one's own karma. It's a prayer. It's an observation in stillness. It's a self-reflection, and in that self-reflection, the karma is taking place. It's going to its rightful place. It's being moderated by the higher forces on the mental plane. So that's what karma is all about. Acting with wisdom will probably get you there. It doesn't mean you have to be completely cautious and hesitant and carefully thought out. It's just an awareness of that, where you're going and how these energetic forces are going to be most adequately placed in their correct positions. Again, nature does this. realizing the degree, the extent to which one is a force apparent within nature, and understanding the kind of karma that entails. Um, and you'll produce what you're most deeply involved in. Nothing so completely shocking is going to come from, inherent within the seed is the fruit. So you can just do what you want to do. Action is better than inaction, because in the inaction you might begin to eat the fruits of which are supposedly for sacrifice to that next thing, the next thing. So finding your joy, finding your bliss, the karma just dissolves. It's carried forth into that blissful realm, and doing what you love doing is perhaps good. And then the karmic shuffle comes again, and again it's difficult to talk about, but by the fruit of the labor ye shall be known, and that ye shall be known. Like the handprint of the Creator can move through you, and it doesn't come it's not free. To really embody something, the role entails a kind of karmic momentum. Yeah. From another point of view, from the Buddhist point of view, karma is a family of Buddha. I'm not sure. There's probably enough for another talk all completely together here, but the karma family of Buddha is a kind of, shall we say, mental predisposition for those who are using work as a form of understanding enlightened activity that strives to finish. It brings to conclusion. It doesn't get one caught up further in the activities of the world, because at the end of the day, like, one person doesn't need that much. Enlightened activity from the Buddhist perspective is working with nature. Things are seemingly flowing smoothly. At the same time, if there's no grit and nothing new is being done, we're sort of destined and doomed to repeat old patterns, and that's what karma is, the old pattern that is not yet fruitified. The mission for the individual is to understand the karma, the latent karma, the potential karma, the dormant seed of karma, and in that knowingness one can go forward or retreat with perfect wisdom and the reassurance that nature is on your side. And have fun and be spontaneous. Can't forget that one. Have fun and be spontaneous. It's the nature of the Gita, and that's why we look to deities who have explained the karma in the most amusing and understanding ways, such as Krishna. His teaching is the ultimate trickster, prankster, who was able to dance and play with life as he does in his own realm with his own energy, which is ever protected. But through his grace and mercy and the teachings and the sacredness of the preservations of the text, we can understand that life is to play, and to play is to begin to get a taste of the transcendence of karma, the fulfillment of role, the fulfillment of the role that one finds oneself in, because hey, you didn't really, at the fundamental cause, you can know as much as you wish to know, but how that's going to manifest on the physical plane, it's not really going to ever be known. So we just have to flow with it. I think that's enough on karma. This is a very, very difficult topic to talk about, and you just have to come to know yourself. Hopefully throwing yourself into different situations is a good way to forge a kind of fruit of self-reflection that can then be used to further perfect one's art, which is to flow and be in touch with the world and nature, and faithfulness in the unseen, releasing of the burden of karma, the wisdom of knowing how to deal with the karma. Can't just we're not so extracted or separate, separated from nature, separated from individuals. That's again a delusion. Yes, we are individual, and in our separateness, in the differences, that what makes it beautiful. Finally, I touch on this ideal for the bodhisattva wisdom, which is that I'm delaying the gratification, and so all beings can experience some kind of gratification. That's the Lazarus miracle of Jesus knocking on the tomb door of Lazarus and say, "Hey, come back! You're through the party." There's still some work to be done down here, and that begins the next turning of the wheel of the karma. So that's the beginning of the dharma. You've extricated yourself sufficiently from the natural world and the forces, then there's a heavier responsibility, and that's the coming back to teach, to come back into the world to show us a way forward with less, more easily dealt with fluid unfolding of activity in the world.